but you have to keep your hands the same distance apart.
Okay.
And you can either, for a world record, you can either get a moderator to come out, or I think you can also, I could be wrong, if you record a video and have it unaltered, and they can watch and verify and count.
I feel like that shouldn't count.
Maybe it doesn't.
Seems unfair.
Maybe it doesn't. It's possible it doesn't.
This is episode 27 of the 3 Dot Podcast.
I love that I don't even know when you press play. It's
That's
great.
what I try to do, and that is Phil you hear here.
Sure
Phil's
is.
back. Welcome back.
I'm back. Like I never left.
Shut up.
But I did because it's your house.
So, what... You listened to the most recent episode. Do you have anything... We'll start there. Do you have anything to review from that?
I do not. Nothing specific.
You were live texting me. I thought you had the blame issue.
Oh, yeah. The blame...
Your last... What was supposed to be your last appearance.
Yeah. You know, I tried to block out that conversation that we had, but let me pull it up. I'm going to pull it up.
That's fine. So Phil showed up, as I talked about in the last podcast.
Yeah, that one. That's the one.
He gets here, and I forgot that I was going out of town for the day, and told him.
Nobody forgets that they're going out of town.
I do. Well, I know. It was more I forgot that we had planned.
Yes.
And then realized I was going out of town, and I didn't think to say anything because I forgot that we had set anything up. And then, at the time, I took a majority of the blame. I did feel bad about it, but
I can tell that you did.
After polling people, a majority of people are saying that was actually your fault.
I have a hard time believing it was the majority.
I'm just saying it was the majority.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty split, and then I convinced some people to come to my side. Is more accurate of what happened. But my whole thing is just in the we can plan for it, and then no follow up, and then you just show up that day. A lot of people are saying it was split down the middle. There still should have been, at least before you left, hey, are we still on? Rather than just be here, because then it's what.
Maybe I should have, but I mean, I like the spontaneity of it.
I suppose so, but it bit you in the ass. That's what happened.
It really bit you in the ass because I was here.
Yeah, but it didn't bite me. You're the one that came here for no reason. So, I mean, I was fine. I went into my house and got ready for the day.
I cried in my car all the drive home.
So what you were telling... And that's how we cold open, because of this, I had to get it on record. It was a fascinating discussion. You said you finished your latest read.
I did finish I didn't finish. I'm 30 pages away. 25 pages
away. So
away.
you are reading a book about a pull-up champion?
It's David Goggins.
Oh, okay.
You know who he is?
No, not specific. I've heard the name.
So he's...
I thought you were just reading a book about pull-ups.
He went through Hell Week. He did Hell Week like 3 times. It's a pretty, I like his story a lot. A lot of people, he's kind of split. Like, some people think he's just an a-hole. Other people really like him. But he's very much no excuses. Everybody has things that hold him back, but don't let that hold you back from succeeding.
So he's one of those motivational type guys.
He used to be 300 pounds, and he wanted to get into the SEALs. And I think they told him that he had to be...
the walruses, am I right?
Right. And they told him... They told him he had to lose 100 pounds. He lost 100 pounds, I think, in like 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
So he could get into it. And
so then he's saying anyone can do it?
Well, he just says that just so much of it is just in our minds. And just having a strong mindset and how valuable that is.
Original stuff there.
It's pretty good, all right? I like it.
It's not. I do love every once in a while I'll scroll through the Facebook and I'll see just like a 4-paragraph thing. I'm like, who the fuck? Oh, it's Phil. and it's all like only we hold ourselves back and stuff. I'm like, he must be reading something. You're a motivational guy.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate that.
It really changes my day. I get really happy when I see it. Not because it helps me, but because I go, what the fuck? Why would you do this?
Rude, but understood. You're welcome.
I'm not that type of dude.
I know you
I will
aren't.
do that for myself, but when I read someone else, I'm like,
See, but that's what I use Facebook for, because like with the memories, I'm like, oh yeah, I can remember that is something that I read at one point.
so you use Facebook.
I forget everything.
Right. Well, interested, because I forgot the plans and you tried to blame me. No, so
I remember those plans.
So you basically post on Facebook just as your own like notes, so that they come back a year later.
The way I look at it, it's like a photo album. It's a photo album of memories, pretty much.
I mean, you're not wrong. I just love the idea of Phil being like, all right, in a year, I'm going to dust this puppy off, reshare it, add a few words.
Or I'll just read it again and be like, oh yeah, I should have been doing that.
Every day you're like,
I'm back in the zone again.
Damn.
I'm back.
Reset.
Like a reset.
How have brunches been with your father-in-law?
They've been great.
Yeah. How many have you had since the last time we spoke? It's been a while. It's weekly, right?
For the most part. Sometimes not.
Right.
Lauren's going to get brunch with him while we're doing this.
Oh, okay.
Probably roughly every week, every other week.
Gotcha.
Every 3 weeks.
What's going on with him?
Yeah. I mean, he's good. He's going. We were talking last time.
Should we get him on the pod?
He's trying to go a bit down to part-time start of next year.
Okay.
So semi, like obviously not retirement, but trying to ease into that kind of that.
Yeah.
So
what's he do?
I was like, that's exciting. Sells headstones.
Does he really?
He does. I'm not even lying.
I'm not. I just did not expect that to be the thing.
Yep.
Profiting off of other people's saddest moments. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Is that not what it is?
I'm saying he's making people feel more comfortable with their final resting places.
Okay.
Or their loved ones.
Spin it however you need to spin it, Phil.
Hey, this is something that kind of blew my mind once. Because my dad was... Because obviously that's not something that I think... I mean, obviously it is. A lot of people do. But my dad told me once, he's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go... go talk to Stu. That's his name. I think I'm gonna go see Stu. I was like, yeah, for what? And he goes, I need to get a headstone. And I was like...
For himself?
Yeah.
Well, he wants to pick out his own
headstone. I was like, what? I was like, Dad, what are you saying right now? He's like, dude, people do this all the time. Like, this is the first time I'm hearing.
You've never heard of it? Yeah, people do that. Is your dad planning on dying?
I hope not.
He seemed a little young for that.
It caught me off guard.
How old's your dad?
63 or 64.
Yeah,
early 60s.
He's still got a good run.
Early mid. Yeah, he's got that in him.
Yeah, he can still break a pull-up record if
he's got that dog in him.
Oh my god. So, again, because Dave and I were talking about this. So anything really exciting happening with him other than that? Because the weekly meetings still throw me off.
Not a whole lot.
Okay. Have you guys gotten breakfast with your parents yet?
They're not. They really don't. They don't like leaving the house. I have asked them numerous times, hey, you guys want to go get breakfast? My dad's like, I really appreciate the offer, but I think I'm going to pass. I was like, oh, you have other plans? Not really. I just don't really want to leave the house.
Is he still working?
No. He's been quote unquote retired for about 10 years now. But he never actually stops working. So
doing what? What's he do now?
They work on
retirement.
They work on. They live. I mean, you've been to my parents' house. It's like 7 acres.
Yeah.
So he'll either just do like work in the barn, or he helps other friends. That a couple of his friends have has like an odd job, just like small jobs in people's houses that'll help him with. So a lot of times he'll go help with that.
Old-fashioned.
Yeah.
But yeah, good for him.
So yeah, he stays after it.
Maybe I'll go get breakfast with him since you neglect them. But
they don't accept my offer.
That's why you just show up.
Yeah, you
go to them.
Hey guys, get up. We're going to breakfast.
No, you bring the breakfast to them.
And they're out of town right now, so.
find them. Where are they? Where are they?
They're in Pennsylvania.
I actually haven't seen them in a while. I always love seeing your dad, but
I know.
he always gets excited to see me.
I know.
I might circle back to more topics about you, but
I'm excited.
we'll lead. I should have. Almost did the pod last weekend, and I should have, because 2 stories that we're going to talk about today were like breaking as I was getting ready to record, and I just ended up not doing it because I suck. But
hey, don't get down on yourself,
thank
man.
you, Mr. Motivation. The Northwestern,
help you.
The Northwestern football debacle, I think is safe to call it now. So I'll just go through the timeline, and then you can pepper in your thoughts afterwards, because I know you were reading about it, because I told you to. So they did an independent investigation, which led to a 2-week summer suspension for Pat Fitzgerald, a Northwestern football coach. Then more recently, there was a report from Northwestern, the campus paper, that detailed more allegations. They had 11 witnesses, including the allegations included sexual abuse, hazing, and in there it said that Fitz had explicit knowledge and even encouraged the behavior that was going on.
I did not hear that part.
So then the Northwestern president and AD fire Fitzgerald, which indicates that either the independent investigation sucked and they didn't find what they should have, or they were trying to sweep it under the rug. So then after they fire him, Fitz meets with the team, says that he had an agreement with the president that the investigation was final and it would be the 2-week suspension only. And then without notice fired him. They didn't talk to him first, they just fired him. After they had already suspended him for that investigation. So Fitzgerald indicated, I don't know if he came out and said it, but he will be suing the school for, wrongful termination. Then it comes out that it was alleged that a former quarterback who was benched for a walk-on embellished details of these incidents and was perhaps lying about it. Then after that,
was it Mike Kafka?
The donors, just name any Northwestern guy,
That's the only Northwestern guy I know.
Then the donors, who are building a new athletic facility,
$800 million.
$800 million. They're demanding a public release of the report that got Fitzgerald fired, and until then, they're halting funding for the project. And then it comes out that Northwestern baseball coach is fired for allegations as well.
That too.
Yes, and then the last note here is Northwestern is fucked.
I'd say that that's pretty safe to say. Yeah, I just read up and it said that the of what the allegations were was that there were players being restrained and being dry humped.
Dry humped.
That is
there was
weirdest.
Also like a whiteboard apparently in the locker room with a list of players who were going to be next for that treatment or whatever.
Dude.
People were saying that Fitzgerald, there's some sort of clap that they would do, and they said that Fitzgerald would do this clap, which means that he knew about it. This is all that what was said. I don't know whether you know about it or not. I can't imagine Fitzgerald would be doing that so brazenly, but that's what they're saying. I also don't know because they said that quarterback. It was one guy, and he said this because he was angry, and he put in the transfer like a month before this broke. But the paper said they have like 11 witnesses. So even if that one guy's making stuff up, they're saying 11 other people are either confirming it or have their own allegations. So I'm not sure that even if that one guy is embellishing.
Out of curiosity.
Yes. It's not
because there's 2 of us in here.
Yes.
In this room. One of us has played collegiate athletics. I can't speak.
That a boy.
Yeah, I barely said it. And it's not the handicap kid, which is me. So, all that leading up to say, have you ever witnessed any hazing of any sort?
I would never say anything. But no. No.
Next question.
I will
no
say
comment.
I was kind of talking to Haley about this, and then a guy I work with, I was talking to him because he played college basketball.
Oh, okay.
So we were both kind of talking about, And I was saying, like,
Where at?
there's I'm gonna send him the podcast.
Okay.
You put me on the spot,
Sounds-
and now I don't remember. Oh man, sorry, Jay. The But I was saying, so there's levels, because, like, technically, by definition, like, in high school, there's hazing, or, like, an underclassman playing varsity has to carry the heaviest thing. You know, like, you know, if you want to get technical, like,
Right.
that's hazing, an initiation process, whatever. You get to college, it goes up a level. NFL, there's obviously been hazing issues even at that level, or messing with guys too hard or stuff like that. So, like, it goes up. But in college,
Pay the $30,000 bill.
right, that exactly. Yeah, no, I mean that's technically
Right.
you know a hazing situation. But in terms of actual like hazing, like what we're talking about with this, there was hazing, if you want to call it that, in where I played baseball, but it wasn't at all this. You know, this
Right,
is a
right.
very extreme case. But I mean, to say it doesn't go on to some extent everywhere, you know, would be a lie. It's definitely something that happens.
Right.
And but usually, like Jamal and I were talking, like we both had similar hazing experiences. And again, I don't even like using the word hazing because it
Right.
wasn't, you know, didn't think of it like
Right.
that. But
When you say hazing, it takes it to a different level.
that's what I mean.
Right.
But the idea that a coach knows about this one and it's involved in, you know, sexual abuse
Right.
is insane and a
Yeah.
whole different level. Like for us, or in my experience, it was more just like scared the shit out of you a little bit,
Right.
And then by the end of it, it's a party, and it's like,
Right.
okay, you went through like an hour or two of us messing with you, and now here's this.
Now you're in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there wasn't any dry hump and nudity,
Right, nothing
and,
like that.
You know, sexual things
Brutality
at all.
or
Yeah, there was
anything.
nothing,
Right.
none of that. There's no physical anything. It was more
Right.
just like games, you know,
Yeah.
more or less, and then it would be like drinking and stuff get involved. But that compared to this that's why I don't like using hazing. It's
Right.
two completely different things.
Yeah.
The other thing what I was saying is I don't know where Northwestern goes from here because of the timing of everything. Like if you just want to talk about the school, so they fire one of the best coaches they've ever had, maybe the best coach they've ever had. Mm-hmm. And it happens now after every other coach who was looking for a job has already been hired somewhere. Your recruits aren't signed yet, and because of this issue, being it outside of football, they can all decommit and sign somewhere else immediately.
And probably will.
Probably will, because they don't know who their coach is,
Right.
they don't know what the team's going to be. Then you have
Don't know what their facility's going to look like.
their entire roster also can transfer and play right away because
Right.
this is something that's outside their control. This isn't, hey, I don't like the coach, I'm leaving. This
Right.
is our coach got fired, there was hazing, this program's toxic, I'm leaving. So also, even if there was a coach who would want that job, or even if there was a coach available, I'm not sure they would want to come in and be like, all right, I have
Right.
half a roster, no recruits, and I have to fill my entire staff. How
Unless the coach is like, all right, I get a 10-year contract.
right.
You,
Which
and you can't end it prematurely.
Well,
outside of, you know.
well, the other thing
legal
is like,
things.
who knows? Is the athletic director going to get fired? Is the
Right.
president? Is the president of the school who's being involved in this? Are they both gone? And then you have no direction. You have no one to hire a coach. You have an interim AD, interim coach, interim whatever.
Your volleyball coach is going to be your next
Right.
head football coach.
Like I don't know where they go from here. It's not like they were a top program to begin with. Like if it was a top program where someone's like, okay, I know if I come in, and I'm established already,
Right.
and people want to play for this school, like people don't typically want to play for Northwestern. I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're like
I mean, it's a
grew
Big
up
Ten
right there,
school. But
right? But I mean, so is Illinois.
no, you're right.
I mean, and no one really wants. So is Rutgers. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, but like that's different. Like Shiano is a established coach where he can get some talent. There.
Right.
Like if you're not a already established coach, I don't see how you take that job. The only thing I can see is like if you've never had a head coaching gig,
Yeah.
Then you go there and you have any sort of relevance, then it's like, okay, I proved myself. But then they're
And
leaving. Like, they're going to a bigger school.
and having no head coaching experience to a Big Ten head coach. I don't care the level of the Big Ten school. That's a big jump.
It is, but I mean, Ryan Day has done that. He didn't have any head coaching experience.
Right. He was on Ohio State staff, though,
That is
correct?
the difference. Yeah,
Oh,
he
right.
was the offensive coordinator there and quarterbacks coach for, I want to say, 2 or 3 years before.
And that's my thought. Because I mean they're not gonna push anybody up. I would think that they think could have possibly been involved.
That's the other
They're-
part of it is that since this is all still going on, they still have to find out if anyone else on the staff might have known about it.
Right.
Is it a trainer might have known? Anyone?
Yeah.
And you don't know who's gonna get axed, and you don't know who's gonna be on your team. Like, I was saying that like this is like. Just because of the timing of it, this is like the death penalty for the program, like that SMU documentary. Like,
Yeah.
you're going into a season where you might not have
Yeah.
half a roster. You don't have a coach that's you think is a good coach, and you have no recruiting class.
Right.
So next year you're screwed too.
I mean, this pretty much happened. Obviously, I think it was different reasons. I think it might have been a lack of attendance and things, but this is pretty much what happened to UAB, right? Because UAB's program was gone for a
They're
while.
gonna cancel it, right? Or they
Yeah.
did cancel
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah.
It was gone for a while. So, but then they recently revived it. I want to say in the last 5 years or so,
Yeah, and that's
maybe 10. But
and someone I think they got a decent like recruit going there. Like I think I saw like they're it's UAB, but still, but that's kind of what I'm saying is Northwestern's never had that pedigree.
Right.
So where do you go if you're them? I don't know. And then the fact that the baseball coach is now fired, like it's just a whole horrible situation.
it cascades down to
Yeah,
more than
like,
just the football
What
team.
is like what's going on at Northwestern?
Right.
You need to shut down everything and be like, all right, what the hell? Like,
Right.
I want every single program investigated now.
Right.
You know, before like we handle football, we fired Fitzgerald. Now the baseball coach is fired.
Right.
And then the wrestling coach or the women's volleyball coach. Like who
Yeah.
knows how
Yeah.
rampant this is? Was
And
it a
it
whole
all-
campus just full of
I don't
debauchery?
I don't think that they'll probably get the death penalty or whatever.
No,
or,
I'm saying-
or not
I'm
the
saying-
death penalty, but I think they'll be able to field a team just because when I stop and think, and it's not. I'm not saying it's not, but what I'm thinking of and relating it to, just because it's the first thing that popped in my head, with the whole entire Penn State thing,
Right.
and that was god awful.
Right.
And that team, they still fielded a team, and now they're not at the level that they were at
They
that
are.
point.
Oh, no,
But
they are.
They're better now.
Well,
They got back up to
Here's
that
the
point.
difference, though. Penn State is more of a traditional powerhouse team than Northwestern.
That's right. Yeah.
People want to play for Penn State. Bill O'Brien came in, and you had a established coach.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Was O'Brien the next one?
I want to.
After?
I believe so. Well, they might have had an interim for a year, but Bill O'Brien was the one who kind of
Oh
got
yeah,
him back on track.
and then it was Franklin.
Yes.
Yep,
So
then
Bill
it was
O'Brien
Franklin.
came
Yep.
in and improved things.
Mm-hmm.
He was an established coach. That's what I mean. Is like at Penn State, if you have that kind of booster base, that kind of money, that kind of history,
Right.
you can bring in a guy like that who's maybe not perfect for the college game, but can get you back to relevance.
Right.
And then you bring in Franklin, who
That's a good
I
point.
don't think is a great coach, but in terms of recruiting and everything, he got them to a
Exactly.
spot where they can compete for the Big Ten championship. Northwestern's never been that.
Right.
A few years ago, they got to the Big Ten championship, but outside of that, they were.
The best that I can ever remember Northwestern being is just on the outside, like high 20s in the top 25 rankings.
Right. In the Big Ten, they were in the championship that one year, but in general, yeah. Because even if they win that, people go, it's Northwestern.
Because it's like it was half as a joke, but when I said that the only Northwestern player I can name is Mike Kafka, is because the last I remember that was like the last time that they were good.
Relevant, yeah. And to be clear, I'm not saying they should get the death penalty or they are getting the death penalty. I'm saying by the way they handled the suspension and then firing, it's like they already gave it to him.
Right.
Is what I'm saying. But I don't know. I mean, this is one where there's something new that's come out like every day for the last week. So who knows what else is gonna potentially happen. You have any more Northwestern?
No. No.
You were just immediate. No.
No.
No. Where are we going next? Jonah Hill. You want to take the lead on this one?
You can lead it off. There's a couple different routes we can take it.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say I don't see what he did that was wrong. I get how people can see what he, like the screenshots of the text being wrong, and there's obviously more to the stories that we were talking about, but in the initial screenshots that his ex-wife, I want to say, posted.
I don't think I saw the screenshot.
Oh my lord, Phil! I said Jonah Hill last night in the text.
I know, I got it, and I looked it up. I heard about the.
Well, that's the thing. There's been more stuff come out since, which it's kind of weird how this happens. Like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, someone posts screenshots of his conversations, and then more accusers come out, and then obviously this is the end thing you wanted to talk about. But
is this the one about his? Is this about his wife?
The ex-wife.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen these?
So this was not the one that I've seen. Yeah, I have not seen that.
Well, then we won't spend as much time on it as I thought. But basically, Jonah Hill, and
I didn't realize there was so much stuff out there on Jonah Hill.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. This all kind of happened last week. But what I'm saying is the initial screenshots that I saw, it really divided the internet. But I didn't see anything horrible. Like people were saying that he was being this horrible guy. I don't see that. Now there's someone saying that he was, like at a party, and this other, I want to say actress was like underage.
Yeah, and that's what I found.
Okay, so we'll go to you for that.
Okay, so that one was...
Because I'm not talking about that. I didn't go into that one.
Okay.
I have these notes for this. But his ex-wife out of nowhere posted screenshots of texts from Jonah to her.
Okay.
And basically... I mean, this one right here, Jonah Hill's saying, plain and simple, if you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures, friendships with women who are in unstable places, and from your wild recent past, beyond getting lunch or coffee, or something respectful, I'm not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for romantic partnership. My boundaries with you, based on the ways these actions have hurt our trust. So Jonah's basically saying, if you need to do all the things that I see you doing,
right,
do it.
Right.
But I just don't want to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I get where a lot of the anger came from, where it's like he's trying to be controlling,
right,
and he's been very open about all his therapy and stuff. Like, he's using some very, like, therapy speak.
Right.
Stuff. But in my eyes, he said, these are my boundaries.
I was going to say...
If you want to do whatever you're doing, go ahead.
I was going to say, am I a bad guy for thinking I'm like, that's not that bad?
I don't see it that way. And a lot of people are saying, well, she's a surf instructor. So what do you want her to do? But...
You can be a surf instructor without crossing those boundaries.
That's the thing about the internet. So she posts that out of nowhere.
Right.
And it's like, see what he's doing. We don't know what was going on behind the scenes. Like, maybe there was more to it than just... Like, the whole thing about friendships with people from your past who are unstable. Like, who knows what's going on in their home at that time. And this was years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she posted them out of nowhere last week. And there was more to them, but I just don't really see what the issue was or why it came out at all.
Yeah. And my part, and me personally, just as... If you're saying, well, these friends aren't, like, really stable or whatever, it's like, well, maybe they need somebody that genuinely needs somebody, and you can try to help them out.
That's fair. Well, see, but that's where he said, if you need friendships with them outside of getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful. So this sounds more like... them being like, let's go out and we're going to
do all this
make
stuff.
Bad decisions.
Right, exactly.
And I don't know. I just feel like Jonah was very much like, I'm just trying to be clear.
Right.
Here's what you need, then whatever. Then
Based on that, I don't.
right,
I don't.
and again, I'm sitting here saying, well, we don't know what was going on. She might have been doing worse things.
Yeah.
Maybe he was doing worse things. So we're very just surface level talking about it. But she put it out there, so it's something to talk about. I also think it was interesting. So then Jonah sent her more texts like, why are you releasing intimate texts between us? She posted those. So I don't know.
Right.
Like, it just feels like there's some disconnect there. Well, obviously, but I don't know what her goal was with doing this. But it goes into, then later, these stories come out.
Right.
From some sort of party, and you said you had something
Yeah,
on
so there
that.
was one, Alexa Nicholas, who was, did you ever watch Zoe 101?
Yeah. Oh, okay,
So
yes,
was
I
one
did
of the
see this
girls
on
from
Twitter. Go
that.
ahead, yeah.
And, at the time, she was 16, and she claimed that Jonah Hill offered her a cigarette, and that they walked outside, and she asked him, "Can I get the cigarette?" And he proceeded to push her up against a car, and with her words, shove his tongue down her throat.
Okay.
And just start making out with her.
How old is Jonah at this time?
I couldn't tell you.
But he wasn't like 16. He's older, right?
Right.
Mean,
Right.
I don't know how old Jonah Hill is.
So I'm gonna look it up, and I'll look up and see how old.
And that, either way, it sound.
Yeah,
just from the just
it's
from
not good.
Well, no, I'm saying either way from the facts of what you just said, that's sexual assault.
Yeah. Right.
But I'm just curious, like what, because she said he was older in the story, right? Like much older.
Yeah. So she was 16 at the time. So this would have been 15 years ago.
Okay.
So
And
however
how
old Jonah Hill is.
I just want to have facts before we.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Jonah Hill.
So 15 years.
Jonah
ago.
Hill's 39.
So 24.
What's he doing at that party?
That's a weird move.
That's a very
weird move.
It's weird to begin with. Just being
Yeah,
like, hey,
right.
you want a cigarette?
Want a cigarette
like,
to a 16-year-old?
He's probably just there like, you need a cigarette?
Yeah, right.
Like, just already planning.
Right.
And then they get out there and shoves his tongue down her throat. You know what? Jonah Hill, bad guy.
That's cringe. That's cringe. Yeah.
Oh, here's the thing: so I'm sitting here and I'm like doing the same thing you're doing. Like, am I a bad guy? Jonah Hill doesn't seem that bad.
Right.
And then when I saw that story, I was like, oh shit,
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Hold the fort.
Right. I'm just gonna see how this plays out.
Yeah. You know what? Before I really get my thoughts together, but that's why I wanted to do them separately, because like just based off those texts alone, that's a separate issue, separate story. And I think it kind of plays into the whole social media thing where people are picking sides based off a few screenshots of whatever.
Yeah.
This seems more cut and dry. Like, there's something with Jonah.
Right.
Where there's
and the thing is, it's a very
that's an aggressive,
it's a very specific story.
Right. That's the thing.
And my thing,
like
a lot
cigarette,
of times, and my thing is a lot of times, because a lot of times with instances like this, one person will say something, and then you'll hear, well, other people.
Has he responded to this?
I don't know. I haven't seen. But some people will jump out and say, well, yeah, and they'll look at it as an opportunity. I'm not saying that those are all inaccurate or whatever, but it's just one of those things that just kind of makes you stop and think. So, yeah, it's definitely it's a touchy subject.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's a thorny issue.
I love that saying. I've never heard it.
Okay, I do have some thoughts on the Jay Baruchel part of that.
Okay.
That we're gonna go to next. So I don't know. Like, clearly there's a problem that he's even at that party.
Right.
Clearly there's an issue where he's trying to get her alone.
Right.
And then, then the actual assault.
Yeah.
Alleged.
Right.
I don't know, but.
Oh yeah, if that all happened, he's definitely a piece of garbage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's not debatable.
And maybe that's why he did so much therapy, and now he's trying to
be better.
But
we're all much better people than we were 15 years ago.
Exactly, but that still happened. You know what I mean? It's very so. Like, is that always there? I don't know. That's a
Well, I guess not all of us are better than we were 15 years ago.
That's true. Some people get much worse.
I like myself now more than I did when I was 14. Not that I was that bad at 14.
No, you're a great guy.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate it.
I do want to go into, not to brush off, but I feel like we've hit everything that's a fact or that's been detailed right now.
I agree.
The Jay Baruchel thing. So here's what's interesting. So Jonah Hill gets into news for the screenshots that were posted.
Yeah.
Then that report comes out about him being, a disgusting person and an assault. Then this Jay Baruchel interview that you're talking about, this happened when the movie came out.
Crazy.
So, like, people are bringing that back up. It was, because I just listened to, The Ringer did a podcast about This Is the End.
Okay.
And it was really funny. They talked about how Jay and Jonah and Jay and Seth had, like, all had this disconnect. And this issue was, and the movie was written based off that. Like, that was the whole point.
So it was genuine.
Yeah.
It was a genuine movie.
And it was a lot of improv because they all genuinely had this, like, tension. And now they're using that old interview to be like, yes, let's go get him, basically. Right. I don't really understand what's happening, what Jonah did that is causing all this to happen. For instance, right now I just looked up 19 hours ago on Yahoo. An old episode of Jonah Hill and Justin Long on Punk'd has resurfaced, and yikes. So now we're going all the way back to Punk'd.
Yeah, Punk'd hasn't been on in God knows how long.
I don't understand. Jonah Hill and girlfriend.
Bottom line, it's not looking good for Jonah Hill. And people are just trying to stack onto it. That's what it sounded like to me.
He's being called a misogynistic narcissist. But don't cancel him just yet. Daily Mail. What does that even mean?
They don't even know what it means.
I just... yeah, because so the ex-girlfriend, Sarah Brady, is accused of emotional abuse and manipulation. Which I don't know if that's what that was. The text that I read. Like, that's...
Right. I mean, other people are going to take it differently.
I get how it can be read like that, but I don't see it that way. Then there's the assault issue, which clearly that's a much bigger deal and much creepier in general. Yes. And then now it's pile
That's a bona fide issue.
And all this other stuff is just pile on.
Right.
Jonah Hill's in the news. How do we make it worse? How do we get clicks?
Yeah, right.
So, I don't know. I'm big fan of Jonah Hill's movies, but that was always under the assumption that he was kind of this goofy guy. Yeah. Which also, in the documentary he did, he doesn't seem like that goofy character at all. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah. So this kind of takes.
And who knows what else is going to come out? Right. Yeah. It does. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, I can't watch a movie, but it's like,
right.
Huh? Like there'll always be kind of like.
It's going to make you think about it.
Right.
Yep.
Maybe his Wolf of Wall Street character was spot on.
Maybe. There you go.
She's my cousin. Well,
I've actually never seen Wolf on Wall Street.
Are you serious?
I know. That is a movie. I was literally just talking about it this past week that I need to watch.
How have you not seen that movie? You're a movie guy.
I am.
Granted, it's The Town every time.
Guilty as charged.
You watch The Town like every week, and you don't have time for
I don't watch it every week.
Every other week.
That is also false. I haven't watched it in a long time.
What's a long time? 2 months? What about Superbad?
At least a year. I've watched Superbad more recent than I've watched The Town.
If someone's gonna fuck my cousin, I'm gonna fuck my cousin. It's from Wolf of Wall Street.
I gathered that much.
Well, I'm trying to help you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for the help, Nick.
Do you have any more Jonah Hill news?
I do not have any more Jonah Hill news.
Okay. I had the Tom Holland Zendaya thing, but I'm not gonna do that. Adam Twain. What?
I was gonna say you want to jump on that Sound of Freedom movie since it's similar.
Oh yeah.
Similar
That's right.
route, but so I went and saw. So do you know what the premise of it is?
I was reading about this. So it's based off a real guy.
It's a real guy,
and who's stopping or fighting child trafficking, human trafficking, like children.
Yeah. Tim Ballard.
Ballard.
So he actually worked in the government and it touches on all of this in the movie, and it touches on
You
it
saw
pretty
the movie?
quick. I did,
Okay.
and it hits on it all pretty quick, but so he's in the government at this point, and they're trying to stop pedophiles, and there's a guy who asks him who he works with, and he says, "Tim, how many pedophiles have you caught?" And I think he said, "To date, 288." And he said, "How many of the kids have you saved?" And then he's kind of caught off guard and is kind of just sitting there. And he said, "Well, our job is to bring in the bad guys and to stop what's going on there." And the guy just kind of fought. And when he said that he caught the pedophiles, he said it's a sick world. And then the other guy's response to when he said that he hadn't saved any kids at that point, he said, "You're right, it is a sick world that we're catching the pedophiles, but we're not saving the kids that are the victims of, as far as like trafficking and things like that."
Right.
And so then he catches a guy at the border who has this kid that they know about, and he had set this pedophile up to send this kid to him because he convinced the pedophile that he was like him. And so he said, "All right, well, I'm going to get you this kid." And so this is how he saved the kid and locked that guy up. And
Okay.
then the kid was like, "Can you save my sister?" And that's pretty much how it started. But how the dad was set up, because this was in a foreign country, and the dad was approached by a legitimate model, because they said a lot of times these are legitimate like supermodels, and they're just involved in this, and saw his daughter and son. I think they were 8 and 9,
Okay.
and said, "Your daughter is beautiful. Would she want to be and like do like modeling?" And then
So they use models.
yeah,
Okay.
and and then the son said, "Oh, can I come too?" And she said, "Yeah, you can come too." And he said, "Just bring her to this address at this time," and it's a hotel.
Okay.
And it goes to the hotel room, and the dad's about to walk in. And she said, "No, you can come pick him up at 7 o'clock." He said, "All right."
Red
And
flag. Right.
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. So he says, "All right," and there's multiple other kids inside of the room, all thinking that it's a modeling thing. He goes back at 7 o'clock. The room's empty. And so, and again, that's all like how it starts off. So you get all that pretty darn quick. But the thing is, it's based on a true story, and it talks at the end of the movie. I'm not going to give anything away, but at the end of the movie, it says that child trafficking is a $150 billion a year industry,
Jesus.
or human trafficking is,
Right. Right.
and millions of those. I think they said 2 million of those are children in the U.S.
Which is
and
also nuts.
which is disgusting.
I remember listening to a speaker when I was in college, talking about human trafficking, and that was we're going on 10 years ago, 9 years ago, and it's only gotten worse.
This movie was made. Go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
So that's another thing that's sad about this movie, and it's like kind of fuels conspiracy theories, is because Disney owned the rights to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Disney owns the rights to the movie, and Angel Studios is actually who put it out. Angel Studios obtained the rights to it in March and put it out just now, and 4th of July weekend, and was when it was put out. Disney owned the rights for 5 years. This movie's been made for 5 years.
Really?
But Disney wouldn't put it out.
Disney
Wouldn't put it out. And I'm like, that's extremely disturbing. And especially, and in the movie,
No, if you, it's just to
Yeah.
play devil's advocate. Well, then again, why? Because I was gonna say, well, does Disney want to not put it out under their brand because they're obviously a kids
yeah,
market? But then I would say, why buy the rights then
Right.
to begin with? So,
Right.
I was trying to think of why that might not be.
right.
But this movie's also. Why did I just do that? If I have all this here, we need video.
It's a good
Because that was the dumbest thing I've ever done on this
It's
show.
great.
It's like, watch out, making a point. Fucking swoosh. All right,
Making a point.
This movie has had a lot of conspiracy theories because I've seen a lot of people saying they can't, like they'll go to the theater and either the heat's on or the air's on to an
Right.
extreme level.
I've seen video of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
fire alarms only going off in that theater, none of the other ones.
I saw someone say they got a ticket. It said what theater it was in, and then they went to that theater and it was a different movie, and The Sound of Freedom was actually playing. And again, devil's advocate, why would movie theaters themselves be doing this?
Well, I don't even think I don't.
Because
I
I'm just saying,
right.
if you're up top and you're like, we can't let this movie get out, no one can see it, but it's already out there. You go to every movie theater manager in the country and be like, hey,
yeah, no,
here's
I don't
what
know.
we're doing. I'm
right.
I do think there's conspiracy, especially when you're talking about that big of a business, that big of
a cover up.
Yeah, that I like the movie not coming out, but I don't know. Here's the thing: since I didn't know anything about this movie, I just keep seeing the conspiracies. I was like, oh, this must be a very religious movie. Like I didn't know anything about it, and I was like, this must be a very religious or controversial movie. It's a movie about how bad child trafficking is.
Right.
So and why is that? That's where I'm with you. I'm like, why would that be a problem unless there's high up executives, Hollywood or whatever, that are part of that?
And so, kind of based on that, because again, all of this, so Tim Ballard is who it's based on, and Tim Ballard has been doing interviews with Jim Caviezel, who's the guy who plays him.
Yeah.
And
he played
Passion of the Christ.
Passion of the Christ, that's right.
And so they've been doing interviews together with a lot of this stuff, and he said everybody that's saying that this is false, he said you can look it up. There's video of all of this, like of the actual operations and things, and the sting and catching the kids and saving the kids and whatnot.
Well, that's the thing. Once you said you saw the movie, I looked it up because I was like, oh, well, let me actually find out what this is. And I'm like, how is this a problem? And then I'm like, yeah, this is a guy who was real. This is an operation that's actually happening. Mm-hmm. What's the problem? Go ahead.
There's a scene in the movie, again, where he goes to an island because there's people and the kids get brought on this island. And he said that everybody was whispering in the theater at that one point. And he said every single showing that he had shown.
Epstein.
And he said after the third one, he said, I asked him, I said, why did you guys all whisper during that part? And that's what they all said. They were like Epstein Island. And that's another thing that I've been...
Is that what it was? Though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if that's what he like connected it to, but he was just wondering why people were whispering, and that is why they were whispering.
No, I get that's why they were whispering, but is that what the movie like? Is that what they were actually trying to portray? Was that
no? Because this was an actual
different island.
Yeah. So this was based on an actual.
We need to ban islands.
Definitely.
That's what we
Blow
need to
them
do.
all up.
Blow them all up or flood them. Get them out of here.
Get them out of here.
You stop the islands. You stop child trafficking.
That's wishful thinking, but so it was just. It was a very. The movie itself, like it was a great movie, but it was just because it's true.
Was it well made? I mean, was it like visually a good movie?
It wasn't corny or anything like that. Yeah, it was very well made.
And like I said, I didn't see anything about it until I started seeing these people being like, we can't see this movie.
There was a Rolling Stone article that said Sound of Freedom is a...
that was my next question. Is it getting bashed in the media?
Yeah, it said Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brain worms.
Really?
Yeah. And a lot of people are saying, well, child trafficking is a problem, but it's blown way out of proportion. And I was like, well, that's exactly.
It's been talked about for, like I was saying, there's been well over a decade. Like, I was way more aware of it, like, in college.
Right.
But clearly what's going on before that, and it's only gotten bigger. How is it being minimized by a media that you would think would care? Like, if you're in the media, wouldn't you want to write about this story and help?
Yeah. Especially when... You know that they have every single name of everybody who was on Epstein Island.
Right.
You know it was
let's go. Conspiracy
it was it was there were Democrats, there were Republicans, people on every side of the aisle. I mean, this is my thing. It's people I believe at least. It's people we probably
just say let's be careful now.
It's people we probably see every single day. On TV, news outlets.
Are you saying your father-in-law?
No.
Was that? Was that
gross?
You said people you
Gross.
see every day. Oh.
On the news.
Oh,
On
okay.
TV.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, I just think it's because
I'm sorry.
out of all the things, why are all those names blacklisted? You can't find a single name, and
Well, some people
yet
were
no,
just there for a vacation.
And
Phil. I mean,
yet Epstein was arrested.
and
Ghislaine Maxwell or whatever was
Yes.
arrested, but they're not gonna arrest anybody
is
that
she
was
still
on the
around, or
island.
did she suicide herself too?
I don't know.
Suicide
what it
herself
was.
with her soulmate's hands.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know.
So-
It's just, I really thought the movie was something else because I didn't look into it at all until you said that. I was like, oh, perfect. I wanted to talk about it, but I don't know anything about it. And then I look it up, and I'm like, this is not what I was expecting.
It's been the number one selling movie on multiple days too since it's been out. So it was the number one selling.
And Rolling Stone really said that.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's been a couple of them that have said that have said things like that.
why? Like, what is? I'm just
Right.
What is wrong with trying to highlight an issue and show someone that's actually doing work
Right.
against it?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
scary.
That's exactly.
Legitimately scary.
So yeah, that's my. It was the number one selling movie on the 4th of July. It was only in 2,600 theaters. Indiana Jones came in second, and it was in 4,600 theaters. Sound of Freedom sold 14 million. Indiana Jones only 11 million.
Interesting.
So 2,000 less theaters, $3 million more dollars. Because when we went, we had to sit in the front row because you have to pick your seats when you booked it. And we were literally the second row. We're like, well, this kind of
theater was full?
Yeah.
Where'd you see it at?
Fallen Timbers.
They're not afraid.
They're not. Franklin Park isn't either.
The Midwest.
The Midwest are all
rising
about
up.
it.
All right. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
No.
Well done there.
Thank you.
This is the first time you've come in and actually had
Blazing.
full, ready to go topics. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate it.
Should we go into some more later territory?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, should I save this for the last or maybe do a little bit lightness at the end?
Have you watched The Bear?
I haven't.
Okay. I might. I was debating restarting it because a lot of people are saying it's good.
What's it on?
Shit. I want to say Hulu, but I could
Okay.
be wrong. I didn't like it at first, but now people are saying it's really good, so we might go back. Haley and I are watching The White Lotus right now. Have you seen that? That's one where we watched it, and I remember not thinking it was good, and then season 2 came out, and people are talking about how good it is, so we restarted it, and I'm like, oh, this is actually a really good show. Then, what else did we watch? Oh, I don't know if I talked about it last week. Beef on Netflix. Did you watch Beef?
I watched a couple episodes. I'm trying to think. Maybe I finished the whole thing. That was the one about the woman who got road rage, right?
They both, yeah.
Yeah.
Beef
I think
was
I did.
an incredible show.
I think I did watch that. I did. I finished the whole thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry.
Solved that mystery. Beef was incredible, and it was one of those things. I didn't realize it was a limited series.
Mm-hmm.
So it finished, and I was like, oh, man. What's going to happen to season 2? And Haley's like, no, that's it. I was like, shit. I got burned. But I really enjoyed Beef. It was unlike a lot of shows that are out. And I was like, this is incredible. White Lotus started again. Really like that. So I'm trying to avoid the hipster label that James gave me that one time where I don't like anything new. I just want to say, those are 2 shows that I'm watching now that I really enjoyed. Succession fell off too much for me. Didn't like The Last of Us, but White Lotus and Beef were both really, really good.
I'll have to check out White Lotus.
Did you watch Succession?
I did not.
Okay.
Stay away
I think
from
you
that.
would like it. Oh. Why?
Oh, I thought you said that's the one you couldn't keep going with.
Succession we finished.
Okay.
The Bear is
okay.
the one I didn't
Okay.
get through. Any shows you've been watching?
So we finished it probably like a week ago. Have you seen Jury Duty? That's on Prime.
No, not yet. I've heard. I heard it was really good, and then I heard mixed reviews after that.
Oh, dude, I think it's
Did you watch Nathan
hysterical.
For You?
No.
Did you watch The Rehearsal?
No.
For the love of God, watch those two shows.
Nate,
I'm not kidding. Nathan for you.
Nathan for like the name
Nathan for you. And then the other one is it came out. So watch Nathan for you first,
Okay.
and then watch The Rehearsal. It's the same guy, but I think the producers from that are who made Jury Duty.
Okay.
Nathan for You is one of the greatest shows ever, and The Rehearsal took it to just another level. I've never been more confused and entertained, and I've never laughed out loud more than watching those two shows.
What's it on?
That I do not know anymore.
Okay.
Because I think it's one of those that's moved around.
I'll find it. So, do you know the premise of Jury Duty?
Yes.
Okay. So, that's the funniest thing. So there's only one guy. So obviously,
Right.
one guy's completely in the dark. Actually, thinks it's Jury Duty. There's one star in the show who's James Marsden, and he's hysterical throughout the whole thing. And all of the other people that are on the jury, I found this very interesting. So all of them like dabbled in acting, but none of them that's none of their full-time jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They're like legitimate. Like the judge in the show was an attorney or something of that sort, to where they were all loosely related with the characters that they played, but none of them were actors.
Right.
And I'm like, actors, but
right.
That's not like their full-time job. Dude, it was hysterical. I think you would very much enjoy it. And every episode there were points where I'm bursting out laughing.
That's why I think you'll retroactively like these two.
Okay.
It's similar. Nathan for You is he would go to businesses. I haven't seen this one in forever, but he would go to like businesses and come up with ideas to help their business.
Okay.
And they would just be the worst, most convoluted ideas in the world, but all the people are real. And then I remember, this is going way back, but do you remember there's a viral video on YouTube of a goat getting saved by like a pig going through a stream? Do you remember this at all?
I don't think so.
It was a huge viral video on YouTube. It was from that show. Because the guy wanted to promote this guy's farm, and he told him that he needs to have a viral video, so he made a runway like in the water.
The more you talk about this, the more I feel like I've seen it.
I might have had you watch it with me before.
It's possible.
There was another one where, I don't know if they were all businesses, but like Dumb Starbucks went viral. That was one of his. He had one where it was like a contest where he had these people go on like a 10-day hike and do all these crazy things.
I swear I've seen.
There was one where he hired a private investigator. This was one of the funniest ones. And then he hired an investigator to investigate that guy. And then
to investigate the investigator.
Yes, and then he also had a bunch of people dress up as him, walk around to sit. Dude, it was hilarious. Then The Rehearsal is 10 times more convoluted than that one.
Okay.
So in the first episode of The Rehearsal, it starts out with him going to this guy's house. And they sit down and they have a conversation.
Shit, I feel like I'm there now.
And the Nathan dude is he's either playing the character that is, or he is on the spectrum a little bit. He's very much is very monotoned. He's very off with his speech patterns and stuff a little bit. And he's talking to this guy, and then he just goes, "What if I told you that every part of this meeting was planned out?" And it shows that he had reconstructed an entire guy's living room. He had rehearsed the jokes that he said. He had an actor play that guy and have the conversation before he actually met up with the dude. And then the guy's problem was this very small thing, and then he said it the whole night for. Dude, it's one of the funniest, craziest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
I'll look into
when we're done, because we'll have a little bit of time before I have to
great.
leave. I'll show you some clips from it.
I'm excited.
Incredible. Huge Nathan Felder fan. Where was I gonna go? Oh, we didn't talk about the little baby thing.
No, we didn't.
You want to do that quick
Sure.
before we go to
feels
signals?
Yes.
So Lil Baby, the rapper, has apparently been canceling his arena tour dates.
And we know you're probably all asking, who's Lil Baby?
I don't think. I think he. I mean, he's popular to an extent, but
There's just a lot of baby rappers.
that true. The baby, Lil
Yeah.
Baby, but he's canceling, which led to a list being tweeted out. I just want your thoughts on this. The only Lil Baby's tour is canceling dates due to lack of ticket sales, and then someone quote tweeted that and said the only rappers who could sell out an arena tour in 2023 are Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Travis Scott, Eminem, Jay-Z, and Kanye West. Did I miss anyone? So we won't do the whole thing that we were going to do, but who was missing from that list?
Who could sell out?
Yeah, a full arena tour across the country in 2023.
If it doesn't sell out, it would get very close, I think, Jack Harlow.
That's a good one. I think Jack Harlow definitely
Yeah.
could. And the thing is, it's just rappers, because obviously
Right.
Taylor Swift,
Easily.
whatever, Bieber probably could.
Yep.
I don't think Rick Ross could do an arena tour right now.
No.
I don't think.
I don't think he ever could have done an arena tour.
I think he could. There was a time.
There was a time, but I think...
If it was just him, no. But
Yeah,
if
right.
it was like him and Meek or
Oh,
whatever,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Like Meek couldn't do it right now.
No.
Dead air aside.
Yeah.
Who?
I'm-
That's a strong list.
I literally only think that Jack Harlow is the one that's not on that
Drake,
list.
J. Cole, Kendrick, Travis Scott, Eminem, Jay-Z, Kanye, Jack
The only
Harlow.
one I would maybe think... Of course, he's huge now, too.
Who's that?
Travis Scott.
He's on the list.
I know he is, but he's
he's
like
iffy for me.
he's the one that I'm iffy on
Right.
out of that list. So that's the only one on that list. I'm like, and then some of the other ones, I'd be like, I wouldn't need to go see him, but he would definitely sell out everywhere that he went.
Yeah, I don't. And this is kind of what I was talking about before we started. Was I don't know what new artist could like Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
Was probably the closest, but
Mhm.
like, I don't know who is newer that's going to have that widespread of an audience because everything's very like niche now.
Maybe, and and again, he's very...
Like if you have your diehard fans, sure, but you don't. I don't know who covers.
Another one that maybe could, again, not saying that he would, but maybe, Logic.
No, I'm telling you right. No,
I don't think maybe.
nope, nope. Definitive. I'm saying no.
The only reason I say maybe is because 1-800 went like worldwide
When was that?
a couple years ago.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
right now.
he had
Yeah,
an
I get what
album
you're
since
saying.
then that did all right.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's fair.
But like I'm trying to think. Like anyone who we were really into, like Kanye and Jay-Z and them. Yeah, Drake, Kendrick came up when we were in like high school and stuff. Yeah, but like Big Sean,
No,
I don't think Big Sean
he
could.
couldn't. Wiz couldn't.
There was a time when Wiz could.
There was a time when
Like
Wiz
early
could.
2000s, I would say Mac could have.
Yeah, I saw Logic and Wiz.
Lil Wayne.
Now I would say, that one's
That's
tough.
a tough one.
That one's tough.
He just did the ESPYs.
I know.
Did you like that ESPYs performance?
I didn't watch it.
Oh. Well, I just saw his song. Like, he changed the melody.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
I just need to watch it or listen to it.
So,
Trying to get some name inspiration.
I don't know if you remember this, but once you told me that you don't need to use a turn signal if there's not someone directly behind you.
I still
Do you remember this?
No, I don't remember this at all because I use it all the time.
I just remember...
Even if I'm the only one on the street.
Well, I just remember... I forget what we were doing. I was riding with you, and you didn't use it. I said something. You're like, there's not someone behind me. And I was like, Phil, that's not a thing.
I think it was. So the other day, I did it for the first time in a long time where I was like, I'm the only one on the road. It's not needed. And I was literally the only one. Like, it wasn't, there's nobody behind me. There was nobody. And when I did it then, I was like, I feel wrong for doing this. So when you told me that, I started laughing because that was the first time in a long time that I've had that thought. Oh god.
Also, a fun fact: if you go to Red Robin, this was like 2 years. No, this was probably like 3 or 4 years ago. Haley and I went to Red Robin.
You go weeks
It
ago.
was yesterday. I'm no longer sober. Haley and
Yesterday was a cheat day.
It was a cheat day. Still counted. Haley and I went to a Red Robin, and they had a bunch of like their signature drinks, which are like all sugar. But
Yeah.
so we were like, oh, we'll try them. So we each got one. Then
Like the lemonades or whatever?
yeah,
Or, yeah.
whatever it was. And we each got, there was like 6 of them. So we each got one. Then we each got another one. And we each got another one. So we each tried 3. And then the waitress comes over and goes, are you guys ready for your check? And like we had just got our food. I was like, I mean, not yet. And she goes, okay, well, just so you know, I talked to my manager and we can't bring you any more alcohol. And we're like, what? And then she's like, yeah, so if you guys want water or something, that's fine. And then she walked away, and I was like, did we just get cut off at a Red Robin? Haley and I got cut off at a Red Robin
way.
for having their signature sugary drinks that are barely
Right.
alcoholic.
It was probably that much
Yeah.
alcohol.
But
That was generous. It was
I was gonna say,
that
Phil,
much
that
alcohol.
But it was just funny. So if you go to Red Robin, be careful with the signature drinks because you can get cut off. I don't know what made me think of that the other day, but I was like, I'll talk about it on the podcast. We got cut off at a Red Robin.
That's wild.
Well, it's also like one of the only places I feel like you can get cut off in Toledo. Like, I remember
Right.
we went to Nick and Jimmy's before.
You could be blacked out and
Dude.
people won't cut
Dude,
you off.
Nick, first of all, yeah, like Matt Anthony's, not a problem.
Never.
Nick and Jimmy's, we went there and they had, it was like, if you're there before noon or whatever, it was like half off, like
Yeah.
screwdriver, you know, like, or
Mhm.
whatever. And like, we'd go there with like 4 people, we'd all be getting them and no one cared. No one said a word. We went to, what was the other one I was just thinking of? Well, the greatest, we went to the Brandywine Country Club. And they had bottomless mimosas,
Oh,
which mimosas are
that's
phenomenal.
fantastic.
We were there with like there's like 6 or 7 of us, and we're all just pounding mimosas. And then the waitress goes, "Are you guys gonna do another pitcher?" Because at this point they stopped bringing individuals, they started bringing pitchers of mimosas. And then she goes, I actually had to go get another crate of champagne.
That's awesome.
Because our table had drank so much. And then we went to Frickers and got super tubes.
Got what?
Super tubes. You know that?
Oh,
have you seen the giant towers?
ones?
They
No
no longer
way.
have them. But at the Mommy location, they had
And,
them.
you can thank me for them no longer having them.
Well, that's also something I learned at Frickers, is you're not allowed to have more than 2 at a table. Well, we had the giant table, and
Yeah.
we were there one time with, like, probably like 14 people. Like, we had a ton of people there. So, like, there are 2 tables pushed together.
Can we get
So,
14?
like, at one end there's one, at the other end there's the other. And then we tried to, one was almost out, and she's like, well, we can't bring you another super tube. And I got a little upset. I got a little upset, and I may have called the waitress, something you shouldn't call a waitress or any woman. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I think that'll be a new segment. Is I just tell a drinking story every podcast.
Did you ever see that Office outtake where it's the where they're on the boat and Angela tells Daryl that he's had enough?
No, I don't think so.
Because this is making me think like that. I was gonna ask if you were like Daryl, because in it, Daryl's wasted, and Angela goes, I think you've had enough, and Daryl immediately snaps back at her. He goes, "What'd you say, bitch?"
Oh my god!
And then he goes, "Perhaps you're right."
Oh, because he said that.
Yeah.
I will say, it was, I said something that was, worse than bitch.
No way.
It may have started with a C.
See? No way.
I didn't say it like to her, but I said it
Oh,
like to our
okay.
table,
That was
and
gonna be my
she was in earshot.
Did she hear it?
There's a debate that still rages to this day amongst
Oh
the group
God.
that was there about whether or not she heard it.
I too have that problem.
What?
Just talking a little bit too loud. Lauren's like, everyone can hear it. I was like, it wasn't that loud.
You do that.
And she's like, it was pretty loud.
I have noticed that sometimes where you like lean into Lauren and be like, God, this guy's a fuck. Like, so loud.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Man. It's
But
too
yeah,
awesome.
so I think I'll just start telling an old drinking story every podcast. Live vicariously.
Next drinking hour. Out of curiosity, do you ever have non-alcoholic like beer anymore?
Sometimes, yeah.
Do you?
Why?
I was just curious.
Yeah,
If
like
you
we
still
went.
wanted the taste of it, but didn't want to
No,
drink.
it's not even that, but like, we went out for July 4th. We went out on the river like all day.
Oh yeah.
So like I took out, 6 Heineken Zeros.
Okay.
And stuff like that. And everyone else was drinking obviously.
Yeah.
But no, like I don't like go get a 6-pack of Zeros and keep them in the house or anything. Like I don't need it like that at all. But like if I'm at like Frickers or something with people, I'll get an NA or something. But it's also just like a money saver too, because like those are as expensive as a beer. So like a lot of times I'll just get water or soda and stuff. Like what?
That they weren't as expensive as.
No, they are.
Oh, they are as expensive.
No, they are as expensive.
That's stupid.
Or sometimes more, depending on where you're at.
What's the point?
Exactly. Just get drunk. Just give up sobriety. No.
Well, I'm not saying.
No, I know.
I know what I'm saying.
But no, in general, no.
Right.
But if I'm out, then I might get one or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Any final
Good for
thoughts,
you.
Phil?
Still saying good for you. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Phil.
You're welcome.
Any final thoughts?
This was a great pod.
I think it was.
I think it might have been one of our
it's
best.
interesting. Well, it's hard to say because sometimes when we're just like loose and you don't have topics.
Yeah, that's true.
It's funnier. This wasn't as funny necessarily, but
it was focused.
We were more fleshed out, more focused.
Yeah.
Yes, Phil. When are you see? God damn it! When are you seeing your father-in-law next?
Who knows?
Are you gonna ask him about Epstein Island? Just ask if he's been there. I'm not saying he was there.
I don't think he's been there.
Well, I think you ask, and then if he says no, then the case closed.
Sure, I'll ask.
Okay, cool.
Probably not though.
not ask or not wasn't there.
Both.
Okay. This has been. What did I say? 27.
Yeah, you did say 27.
All right, this has been episode 27 of the 3 Dot Podcast. Thank you to Phil.
In case it wasn't number 27, it's 27 part 2.
It would be 28, I think.
27B.
This has been the 3 Dot Podcast. We'll see you maybe next week.
Bye.